the style I'm going to create tonight is a lovely kind of side swept bun that works really well for long, thick, heavy hair. And it still looks very soft and relaxed and effortless. So the hair prep that I've done, now you could crimp the hair first of all, or you could blow dry. So actually, if you are going to crimp the hair, you could use a little bit of your salt spray, and this is an Fudge Urban salt spray, but there are lots of really great products out there. One of my other favorite ones is a L'Oreal salt spray. I think it's called Beachy Waves, and that's another gorgeous style product. And also French Girl. That's another L'Oreal TechniArt product, and that's called French Girl Texture, I think, and that's another lovely kind of texturizing product. So you could either crimp the hair, but if she has got a lot of hair, it might take you a long time. The other option would be to just blow dry the hair, putting a little bit of, from dry, so you'd blow dry some texture into the hair with a little bit of mousse at the root and the salt spray through the mid-lengths and the ends. And that will just give you a little bit of, will give you a bit of volume, but it will also give you a little bit of texture in the hair. So it will make it kind of, the style will be more, it will be easier for you to create. Okay, so let me show you what I've done already. Let's make sure you can see everything. Thank you. Hi, Aj. Great to see you as well. Thank you for joining me tonight. So what I've done here for our hair prep, she has got a few curls in this style, but it's not essential that you curl the hair for this particular style, but it is important that you get that texture into the hair first of all. And I've created a little bit of movement here on the crown. So I have kind of jumped a few steps for this particular style. And it's not always easy when we do our live tutorials on Wednesday evenings. It's not always easy to show you kind of up close and personal exactly what I'm doing step by step, because we can't kind of zoom in with our live tutorials. But you can also always join me on for my e-learning course, which is an online learning platform where we go step by step through the whole process of hair prep, securing the hair properly, and creating these styles with close-up angles of each different stage. So if you are working or hoping to work as a bridal hairstylist, then please have a look at my online course, because you might just find that really, more helpful than the live tutorials are great, but as I say, we can only get so much detail in them, and we only have so much time as well. So please join me online if you would like to get more information. So this style, we did have a question from one of my online students actually this week, and it's Amy, about working with a practice head. And she's having problems just getting it to look smooth and glossy and getting the hair to look gorgeous. And it's not easy when we work on a practice head, but you can do it. You could use I find that this Silhouette Style and Care Lotion is great for giving kind of a glossiness to the hair. So you could use this once you've blow dried that texture in the hair. If you find the hair is too matte, and it will be very matte on a practice head, you can always go through using quite liberally your Silhouette Style and Care Lotion and curl the hair. That will help to flatten and smooth down the cuticle and give it some gloss and some shine. You can use this again as you create in the style, but you can also use your Creative Texture Super Ego Structure Cream, which is a really good kind of stronghold cream, so it will really help to hold and tame any flyaways. So if you're having problems with your head looking shiny, try using those products. But let's get started. So we've got our little bit of height here created and secured, and and it's a little bit piecey as well, so she's got a little bit of texture in there. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take some of her hair here, and because I am working on a practice head, I'm going to get a little bit of my product here just to hand, because this doll as well does have a tendency to be a little bit fly away. So this will just help me to smooth the hair. And I'm just going to take a section from the side here. Once we've got our height and we've secured it properly there, let's just check. Oh, hi, Amy. Oh, thank you, Amy. I'm glad you're enjoying the course. And I'm really pleased you could join me tonight. So I'm taking this little piece over here and I brought it over, covering up these bobby pins here that we've got holding our height in place. Now I have cheated a little bit because I wanted to show you tonight how to create a style for long, thick, heavy hair. So I have actually added a few extensions into this practice head. So she now has long, thick, heavy hair. But you may well be working with a client who doesn't need any extensions. Her hair is long and thick and gorgeous. So I'm just going to loosen just a little bit this little twist here. So you never know, this might also create part of our style. So the lady that I created this style on, as I say, she was my last bride that I did before here in the UK. We went into lockdown just before Christmas, and she had this lovely kind of side swept bun. In fact, that's the picture that we have as our little thumbnail at the beginning of this particular style. And she wanted a lovely kind of softly side swept style. So I'm just working here, bringing this piece with a little bit of texture. So you notice as I brought it around, I've kind of twisted and pulled a little bit. Find my bobby pin, and then I can secure that here. Now, when I create these styles, I haven't done that very well, actually. I don't know if you can see it, but I can definitely see. I'm using a mirror here just under the camera, but I don't know if you can see reflecting in the light that bobby pin is visible there. Now, what I would suggest when you're creating your styles is as you create them, always try to hide the bobby pins as you go along. It's not easy to do it when you're creating the height here, because you've got to kind of get some bobby pins across there. That's better. But when you come to kind of creating these extra sections here and pinning these side sections into position, sometimes I think if you say, oh, I'm going to let that, I know I've got a bobby pin visible, but I'm going to cover it up in a minute with a piece of hair. But you might find that actually, you know, if she didn't like her ears, then I wouldn't be able to bring this bit back here to cover that section there. She might say she wants it sweeping down and back, in which case you'll be left with this very visible bobby pin. So basically what I'm saying is try as you go along to make sure your bobby pins are hidden. Okay, so now we'll bring our front sections down and back. Now, normally I would be creating this style with my client looking into the mirror so that I can get feedback from her about how she likes the front of the style. That looks quite pretty like that, I think. It almost looks like it's a continuation of this little section here, but it isn't. So normally I would have my client facing the mirror, because then you can get feedback from them as to how they would like the hair to sit at the front. That's it. Lovely. But I'm not going to be too worried about that today for this lady. So now this section here, let me see if I can turn her around without hitting everything. This section here I'm going to bring back later, and I'm going to use that as my kind of little finale. So I'm now going to bring this over to the side. And actually, even though she's got very long, thick, heavy hair, this is actually a surprisingly easy style, quick style, I should say, to create. Needs another, see how this one's just coming loose a bit here? So I need to go back before I go on to the next stage and make sure this is secure. So pop that up in there, hiding it. That's better. Now that's better, because we can always come back and loosen a little bit here. But let's just keep going to our next stage. Get my hair out of my face. That's it. So now, I'm now going to bring this hair over to the side. I've got to be careful. I'm just holding it quite gently. As I say, we've got some extensions in here. And I'm going to pop on here an elastic band. Let me just get a couple of bands here. So I hope everybody's having a good week this week and you're able to keep on practicing your hairstyles. And if you're, on lockdown as we are here in the UK, then I hope you are finding some time to practice your hairstyles, because I know we're going to be very busy once we get out of this lockdown, which I'm hoping will be kind of March. Fingers crossed. But I am getting lots of bookings. I need to remember when I do this, I am standing in an odd place, but we want this bun to be a side bun. So I need to make sure I keep it over to the side here. But I'm getting lots of enquiries for let me just lift that up a bit higher, for my summer weddings. So I think my weekends in July now are all more or less booked, and maybe even June as well, I think. Just let me pop that through there. That's it. So I'm sure we are going to be super busy. That's it. She's got a lot of hair. This lady has a lot of hair. So we've got a lot of hair, but we do want a bit of cream there. Actually, it's coming off my hand, I think. But we do want this style to be secure. So I'm going to use a little donut. So this is quite small, this donut. It's a little mini donut because we've got enough hair. So I'm not using the donut to give extra volume. Let me just see if we've got any questions. No, not yet. So I'm not using the donut to get extra volume. I'm using the donut for security and as an anchor for the hair. Because as you can see, there's a lot of hair here. And she wants it to look very soft and relaxed. So my client, my bride, Helen, wanted her hair to be very soft and relaxed looking. But of course, we have to make sure it's secure. She wore a long veil and she didn't want any back combing. She didn't want it to look too structured. So I used that little mini donut that I've just popped over the hairband. And now all I need to do is just bring the hair up and kind of loop it around and onto the donut. And it's that easy. You can use a little bit of product, just smooth. And if you're having problems, so Amy here, if your practice head is misbehaving, sometimes I find what you can do, especially if you don't particularly here, I don't necessarily need a comb. So I can spray it with the little Style and Care lotion. You can be quite generous with it and then smooth over there. That will help to tame any flyaways. And then you can smooth over it again and just get rid of those flyaway hairs on your practice head. And then let's just go give a little twist and let's start securing it to our donut. And it's that easy. So if your lady had quite fine hair, you could use the donut then to add volume and to give you a little bit more oomph, in which case you could always do the little twist and pull with each section of hair so that you can make it look bigger. And then we're just going to pin it. Now you could just use a bobby pin to secure it to the donut, but here I'm going to use my little kind of up and over technique, and I'll try and show you when we get to here. Actually, I'll come back to that bit in a minute. Let's do the section underneath. You could use if she doesn't want it to be too kind of piecey, you can use quite big sections of hair. You don't have to use lots of kind of really small sections. In fact, I would say if you use lots of small sections, it can look kind of messy rather than textured. So it's better to use kind of a couple of big chunky sections and twist and pull and create that looseness to the hair. I might turn it this way and have a little play around. That's better. And see which way you like. You're kind of looking to see if you like the movement that you're creating. And if you don't like it, just undo it and twist it the other way. See, I think that looks much better because it kind of, if I turn her around here, it kind of, when I pin this up to here, it kind of flows with this piece. And remember, we've got another piece here that we can bring in here. So all you need to do is kind of keep an eye on your style. So what you're trying to do is we're aiming to keep an eye on in the mirror to make sure it suits her from the front. You're trying to keep an eye on how the style looks from the back. Would you use a different pin here because that's pulled it up a little bit, and how it looks from the side. And you probably will find that the mirror really helps. It helps you to kind of step back and look at the style from different angles. Another good thing, if you're not sure, is to take a photograph, because a photograph will really help you to see, just to make sure that maybe you've got if she's got highlights in her hair, to make sure that everything is, there's another bit of, that's from there. I thought one of these pieces of hair had come out then. But taking photographs will really help you to see if the highlights are sitting properly. You know, if you've got the kind of, the hair is sitting, that's nice. A little bit more cream. If your kind of piecey bits are okay, to make sure you haven't got any big gaps in the hair. And the key is, I would say as well, is to take your time when you're creating these styles. So make sure you've got plenty of time. So again, if you feel like you'd be able to, like, you know, you want to be able to see in a little bit more detail exactly what I'm doing and how I'm securing the hair, you can have a look at our online training course. But here, our live tutorials are great because you can kind of get a feel for how we work here at Create Beautiful Hair. That's it. Just making sure that everything is covered. And actually, you can do this style relatively quickly if you need to. You know, if you were doing this as a trial run, you could get once you've got the donut on, you know, you can show her what the style looks like. Everything doesn't have to be perfect when you do a trial run. You're kind of trying to give your client ideas so that she can work out which style she likes best. And so you would avoid using your texturizing powders when you're doing a trial. Let me just secure this in place. Using the up and over technique there, so our online viewers will know what the up and over technique is, just to secure that hair properly to that donut. Make sure it's done properly. That's better. Lovely. So if you were doing a trial run to try and show somebody this particular style, then you could do it quite quickly. As I say, you would be careful. Be careful not to overload the hair with too much product. That's it. And maybe as well, what I might do is, sometimes I find, I've kind of done this back to front. Sometimes I find when I'm creating these buns, if you create, I kind of created the back of the style first, really, before the front. But if when you're doing this, it's usually easier to create the front of the hairstyle first whilst you've got most of the hair. And then you can kind of fake it a little bit more at the back. Not fake it, but you can kind of use your twist and pull. And, you know, it's the front that has to be spot on. Let's have a look. She's a bit, don't look at her makeup, because if I'd have been doing a makeup, I don't think I would have done it quite like this. I wouldn't have used that green. Now we just need to make sure the front looks fabulous. It almost needs to be up a little bit like that. That's better. So if this were a trial, probably what I would do is I would make a note in my wedding planner sheet to put the donut a little bit higher, So the bun was a little bit high, but that's all, you know, it might be different if this lady had some shoulders. We might actually think it looks nice a bit lower down. But actually, I think that for this particular client, I would lift everything up a little bit. So make a little note in my wedding planner book, or however you take your details down for your clients, make a little note so that you know at the beginning, the donut is a little bit higher. So let me just turn her around. She's got a lot of hair, so it's quite a big bun. I wonder if I can lift this up a little bit like that. Let's see if I can do this. Let me work this out if I can get in there. Sometimes you can go in with a hairpin and kind of lift up the donut a little bit. Let's see if it's going to be possible with this doll's head. Go in, find that donut, lift it up. It would be much easier to have just lifted up the donut. Ah, got it. So I kind of went in. You kind of have to feel your way, and you use the strong, straight hairpins, and you can go in and you can kind of push the donut up, and then you kind of turn it back on itself and go back down. But in that lifting up and turning over, you're picking up some of the hair in the hairband a bit higher up. So you can lift it up, loop it, and lift it, push it back down again. We do have close-up tutorials on our online course where I show you how you can kind of move. Sometimes if a bun is a little bit too far back and you want to move it forward, you can do the same thing with the hairpins at the top of the head. I did this lady once and she had this beautiful high bun. And when I finished it, she said, "Pam, I absolutely love it. But if it could just be an inch further forwards." And I was thinking, I really don't know what I'm going to do. So I just thought, let me just try, because didn't have time to take it all down again. So I thought, let me just try. So I went into the bun, pushed it forwards. I don't know if you can see, I'm using a strong straight hairpin here. But I went into the bun, pushed it forwards, and then did my little up and over. And it worked a treat. She said, "That's perfect." And she was ready to go. So surprising what you can do with this up and over technique. So it's definitely worth perfecting just in case. So now let's come around, bring our final piece into position. Let's smooth her out a little bit, because I think, Amy, a little bit like your practice head, the hair on this practice head has perhaps seen slightly better days. She could be a little bit smooth. Let me turn around, make sure you can still see. Just smooth through that hair a little bit. So I'm just kind of spritz it with my Style and Care lotion. So it does make it a little bit wet. But for the practice heads, that's absolutely fine, because they dry quickly under these lights. But as I say, they can be very dry and tricky when it comes to making them look smooth and glossy. But you know, if you can work and create beautiful styles on your practice head, then you'll be able to create beautiful styles on a real person. The difference is, I would say, one of the main differences is quite often the hair on the practice head is quite coarse. So if somebody's got very fine hair, you will need to learn the techniques to help you work with soft, slippy, kind of silky, fine hair. So I think you can guess what I'm going to say. We do have tutorials on our e-learning site where I'm creating styles for soft, silky, fine hair. But then your texturizing would come into its own, the mousse and the salt spray and the texturizing powder, and that will really help you to kind of control the hair. So let's create our little twist here with our little piece of hair that we saved and secure it into place. Now this practice head has got quite a lot of hair extensions in there. So she's got quite a bit more hair than my bride had, than Helen had. But you never know who you're going to get to work with. Okay, make sure everything's hidden. It's a kind of big bun, this one. So probably a little bit bigger than I would have, but it was definitely bigger than the one I did on Helen. But you work with the hair you've got in front of you. And as I say, if your lady has fine hair, not thick, heavy hair like this practice head, then you can use the twist and pull technique to create a fuller, looser, softer looking style. Okay, let's get a little accessory in. Actually, you know what? So I'm going to come towards the camera just for a minute because I also got some, I couldn't decide, I keep kicking that thing away. I couldn't decide whether to use, let's have a look. How long would you say it takes to prep for this style? Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Aj. Let's have a look. How do you put in the first anchor pins? I'll answer that question first. So our main foundation here is the hairband. So when you're working with long, thick, heavy hair, you almost need to get an anchor in the hair, something in the hair that you've got that's got some security. And for me, I did secure the hair in, the height here, but actually it was getting that hairband in the hair. And when you put the hairband in, it needs to be tight. So it can't be kind of flimsy. It can't be kind of sliding up and down the ponytail. So you make sure that that anchor, that ponytail is tight and secure, not causing any pain, but it does need to be tight on the hair. Then I put the donut in, the little mini donut. I think I've got a spare one somewhere here. I think if you watched me earlier on, I had my little mini donut that I popped on the hairband. Now, I didn't need to grip the donut in place because the donut was just sitting on the ponytail and the ponytail itself was secure. So, and I actually there are some styles where you put the donut onto the head and then you do need to secure it. But here, I wanted a low bun. I didn't want it to be high on the head. So I wanted this one to be quite low and coming down off the hairline. So the donut is simply onto that ponytail. And then once you've got your anchor, then you can use your hairpins to help secure everything, because you almost need to go into the donut. Let me see if I can find. Now I'll show you here if I can. So you kind of imagine we've got some nice secure hair here. You need to go underneath into that secure hair, come out again, and then you kind of go up and over and back in, and it kind of it works it will secure the hair into position, but you need to have an anchor in there first of all. So the anchor actually here is the donut, and I can put anything onto that donut once I've got it nice and secure. So hopefully that helps. So hopefully that answers that question. And the hair prep, I would say the longer, the thicker the hair, the more time you need. So I think for Helen, when I did her hair prep, I allowed 45 minutes, an hour, because she had a lot of hair and I was blow drying the texture into the hair. If I was working with somebody with shorter, finer hair, then maybe half an hour might be enough. Half an hour, 40 minutes. But for long, thick, heavy hair, I'd allow an hour. So hopefully that answered both those questions, and it also answered, I hope I managed to answer the question about the anchor first of all. Let me just check. Yeah, I think I did. The question is, maybe you can answer this one for me. Do you think we should put flowers in her hair? It's almost like a Spanish bun, or should we go for a few little sparkly bits, like a sparkly vine going around the back? I think maybe let's go for a sparkly vine, go around the back. So it can be over the side here, and then we can have this. Now, it can be tricky. This is a good thing to watch, actually. It can be tricky getting these combs in when you've got a lot of kind of bobby pins and lots of things happening in here. We've got the hairband, we've got the donut in there. So what you can do when you've got a little comb here to pop in is get your tail comb, because it's hard to push the comb in. So you can get your tail comb, kind of get a good idea where you want it to sit first of all. And I would say about there. And then I'm going to bring those away from the hair because I don't want to touch the hair with these little sparkly pins. You'll find once they touch the hair, they catch on the hair, and it can be hard to get them out without spoiling your hairstyle. Then I'm going to push the comb in and use the end of the tail comb to help me. As I push the comb down, this comb down, I'm going to go into the hair and pull the hair up in between those prongs of that comb on the hair accessory. That's it. And it would just nudge behind any bobby pins you've got in there. And then you can come back and then position one little bit at a time. Lovely. And then as we do this, that looks pretty. We can pop, just bend and twist and tweak and get it to sit the way you want it to sit. And you can use either a little bobby pin or a hairpin to just nudge that and secure that into position. That's it. And then we'll bring this around the front. That's it. And secure. So you'd use the same technique if you were going to secure a veil in position using your tail comb. So we do have tutorials where we show you how to secure veils into both kind of classic backcombed bridal hairstyles, but also into these lovely, soft, relaxed, textured hairstyles. So we've got some more questions. Let's have a look. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like. Oh, sparkly. Thank you. That's what we've gone for. And let's see. Oh, thank you. Let's keep going. I need to put my glasses on so I can read all those comments properly. That's it. Push that in. Nudge this around. Have a little play. And yeah. Oh, I like this actually. I would say this, she's got a lot of hair, and perhaps this is certainly is a big bun. As I say, she did have quite a lot of extensions in. What you can do as well then is you can come back and just keep going with your texture and loosening and get it to be all soft and gorgeous. It would also help, you know, if she had some shoulders. I think then it would finish the style off, but I think we get a good idea, and you can see really secure. Well, I have loved creating this style tonight for you all, and I can see lots of messages coming in. I'm going to pop my glasses on super quick and have a little quick look. Ah, where to purchase the accessories? That's a good question. Now, I found this particular accessory on Amazon, but you know what? eBay is really good for accessories, but you have to just don't be in a rush, because sometimes they take kind of 8 weeks, might be even longer now. That was before we had all the pandemic. So you need kind of about 8-12 weeks sometimes for some of the accessories that you get from eBay. But have a look around. If you just Google it, if you put it in the search box or in eBay or in Amazon, bridal hair accessories, there are so many. You can just go crazy. So I would definitely recommend having a look there. And if you have found any, and some of my brides have found some beautiful accessories. But yeah, if you don't, I think when you're practicing at home, you kind of don't want to have to spend a lot of money. You don't need to spend like 30, 40 pounds on a hair accessory. Whereas when you're getting married, you know, that's nothing, is it? If you're going to have a beautiful piece for your hair. But when you're practicing, I would definitely recommend having a look through Amazon, having a look on eBay. There are lots of beautiful silk flowers you can buy. There are pearly accessories like this one, sparkly accessories. And yeah, you can just go to town. You can buy lovely hair vines as well. So please, if you do decide to give this style a try, please send me your pictures in, because I'd love to see your hairstyles. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you join me on YouTube tonight. We do also put these tutorials out, kind of a shortened version, onto Instagram. But if you are joining me on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and then when we do our next live tutorial, you'll get a notification, and hopefully you'll be able to join me again. And if you are interested in our e-learning course, if you're interested in being a bridal hairstylist, then please just drop me a line and we will get some information to you. We do have a link in the information box, but if you want any more information, just let me know. Yeah, I think I've talked enough for tonight, but I hope you've enjoyed the tutorials. Thank you to everybody for getting in touch. If I haven't answered, I've got my laptop just here, just off camera. So if I've missed any of your questions, I will go through them all again once we end the live tutorial, and I will get back to you. But thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you, if not on my online course, I hope to see you on YouTube again, hopefully next week. Okay, then take care. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope you've enjoyed tonight's style. Bye.